The farm just has so much potential. This is a response to the university's decision to commercialize and develop a large part of what has been historically an agricultural research reserve. This is actually the space that they have slated for commercial development of a Sprouts grocery store and various commercial uses. Now, this is the plan. And it's important to note that what I'm trying to do is synthesize 20 years of community visioning into what this place could look like to counter what's happening on the south side with the commercial development. The big moves of what's currently here to what could be here are really expanding the current polycultural farm area from 1.1 acres to over 11 acres and having all of this wonderful food forest and wildlife corridor down the center. This site is really unique because it's so absorbed in the urban environment and it's so accessible for all different types of people to tap into it. Right near I-80, the Ohlone Greenway, and BART, less than a mile away. All of the red areas that you'll see around here signify approximately 23 square miles of residential areas that are actually very low in terms of food access in Alameda and Contra Costa County. So what the farm, which is here, could really be doing is better understanding local solutions to getting people food who need it the most. One of the things that Jana Napolitano's Global Food Initiative is really striving to do, for example, is think about the local conditions. So as we walk into this field over here, just imagining a Sprouts grocery store facade and the environment that it will breed. It's a static environment. You know, you go into a grocery store and you don't talk to people. You just get in there. A lot of times you're, bummed out after work and tired, and you get all your things and you leave. But you think about this as a food forest, as a park, as a space for kids to come and play, as a space to connect with your neighbors. All of these things are just such rich experiences, and they give back so much more to the community than a grocery store ever could. There are actually 24 schools from preschool to community college that exist within a 1-mile radius of the site here. This road comes into these classrooms, and this road and the classrooms are actually remnants of the experiment station for biological controls that was started in the 1940s. Use really adaptive reuse principles to create these spaces to have educational classes. We have this warehouse that could be this urban agricultural hub for innovation. You could have incubator spaces. Sprouts is proposed to be here, right up next to the creek. So that's going to be really ecologically damaging. And once that development happens, there's no going back. So the fence line is actually going to come up right to Village Creek's banks. And if you look over here, the building facade will actually be, 20 feet, 25 feet from the banks? That's pretty scary to think about how that's going to impact the creek. Right now the university's in this really weird flux and change where they're trying to take university land and have these commercial partnerships with what we're seeing at the Sprouts grocery store, and they see that as a means to profits, to figuring out how to get the university out of debt. But that's not a long-term solution. Maybe we could get the university to see this resource for what it actually is. I was reading about the amount of time it takes for soil to accumulate, and it can take anywhere from 500 to 1,000 years for 1 inch of soil. Thinking about developing over that very rich soil and what can be restored will be very difficult once a Sprouts grocery store pops up. The Ohlone people were the original stewards of this land. This would be an amazing space to have a Native American cultural forest where people can come and learn about the Ohlone culture and think about this land prior to when colonization happened. I hope that I'll come back here when I'm 85 and be able to see this as this thriving 16-acre farm and the entire world is going to look at this place and think, wow, they really, really were smart about their long-term planning. Everywhere else, is totally urbanized, and this place is just this amazing resource that if they hadn't had that foresight and that creativity, it never would have happened.